Hi, welcome to the Pod 615. I'm your host, William Kitchens. Today we have a special guest, Sonny Christopher, the animal realtor with Bradford Realty. He'll be on the show talking about his company and a little bit of his history as a zoologist, not only with Zoo Atlanta, but also with the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere. So we look forward to having Sonny on the show. Stay tuned and enjoy this episode of Pod 615, the animal realtor with Sonny Christopher. Joining me today on this episode of Pod 615 is my new friend and Tennessee's #1 realtor, as voted by his mother, Sonny Christopher. How are you today, Sonny?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Man, I am doing great. And I'm so glad we got you back on there. We originally recorded a traditional podcast interview, and it was good. It was great, but we decided to go do the man. Everybody wants live video now. Now people can see how handsome you are.
You gotta show off the pretty face, you know?
Your mom will be tickled, right?
I'm sure she'll love it.
Yes. Voted Tennessee's #1 realtor by his mom. He's also the animal realtor. So he used to be a zookeeper with the Nashville Zoo. Tell me about that history.
Yes, so I was a primate keeper for about 4 years or so. I spent most of my time at Zoo Atlanta. I spent a little bit of time here at the Nashville Zoo. That's how I kind of ended up here, but took care of monkeys, gorillas, all kinds of stuff.
Monkeys and gorillas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what made you want to go into real estate?
So when I lived in Atlanta, I owned a house there. Did some renovations while we lived there, just kind of fixed up a couple things. I always enjoyed those HD TV shows, just like everyone else, and it kind of sparked an interest. So I started reading some books, listening to some podcasts, and just kind of went down the rabbit hole and really got into it. And as I was getting kind of burned out from the zoo world, I decided to make the jump and get into the real estate world.
And from what I've seen on Facebook, it's going real well for you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rocky road the past year and a half, 2 years or so, but things are kind of going in the right direction and getting some good momentum and going the right way.
You recently just closed on a home. You've got one in the works now, and you're going to be a sponsor for this show. You're going to also take part. We're going to have a little segment called The Sonny Show, where Sonny's going to give you some real estate advice, but do the same thing that he does in his networking appearances, where he gives you a fun, exotic animal fact. So we're going to be looking forward to having him on the show to tell us about that. Real estate, from zookeeper to real estate.
Yes, the natural progression for everyone.
Yes. Well, for an Auburn grad,
Yes.
right? From a tiger to a tiger in the real estate market,
Oh,
right? Yeah, War Eagle, right? I can't believe I said that as a University of Georgia guy, but he's a guest on the show. So tell me about the current state of the market here in Nashville. What are you seeing happening? The market's been, it's been a seller's market for quite some time.
Yep.
Is it still that, or is it evolved here in the second quarter of 20 or
So the market,
23?
the way I see it, really hinges on interest rates these days. It's everyone's favorite hot topic button issue. So from what I've seen, as interest rates fall, 6.5% kind of seems to be that real sweet spot. When we start to hit that mark and below, buyers come out, market picks up, and we're back to multiple offers. If it goes back up, market slows down a little bit, buyers retreat and come back. I'm still seeing, if a house is in a good neighborhood, good location, it's priced right, there's nothing wrong with it per se, those houses are still going for multiple offers. We're not seeing the crazy stuff we were 2 years ago with 50 grand over a list, no contingencies whatsoever, but you are seeing those get multiple offers. But we're seeing a lot more of stuff that's sitting that isn't picture perfect, stuff that 2 years ago would have sold no problem, but now it's sitting. The other thing, if you're a buyer, it's a great time because I am seeing a lot of sellers give concessions, give closing credits, lower purchase prices, all kinds of things. So you can take advantage of the opportunity here.
What percentage of the market are those that are looking for the quick flip, that they want to go in and buy a property at a discount, fix it up a little bit and flip it, versus the home buyer or even the first time home buyer?
Nashville's growth over the last year has definitely attracted a lot more investors for obvious reasons, but you know, the investors are going to make up a small percentage of the overall market. There's houses that obviously lend more towards investors than your typical buyer that's going to live there and live there for a few years. So I would say you're looking at maybe 5-10% of those or more geared towards investors, maybe even less. Um, it's a very small percentage.
And what would you say to somebody coming to Nashville that's looking to buy a new home or a are they looking to buy new? They're looking to buy an older home. What's the market like here?
Nashville's a strong market. I foresee it being a very strong market for the time to come. We have a lot of businesses moving here, still a lot of people moving here from other states. It's just a great place to be, and it's going to be a strong market for that. For the type of house you want to buy, it's really going to depend on what your goals are. Are you looking to buy something for a little cheaper that you could add some value over the next 2 or 3 years as you work on it and live there? Or do you have a good enough budget where you can buy more of a move-in ready home, maybe a new construction home? Are you single? Are you married? Are you a new couple? There's a lot of variables that go into it when it comes to what kind of home you want to buy. So knowing what you are looking for now and maybe in the short-term future. So, a good example, a brand new couple who they don't want to build a family right now, but maybe down the road. So maybe they buy a smaller house now. They live there for 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5, whatever it may be. And then when they get ready to have that family and start growing, they can start looking for a bigger house.
Is there such thing as zero down anymore?
Yeah, so there are some programs. There's a program here in Tennessee that I really like. It's called THDA. It's a down payment assistance program, and the way it works is they give you 6% of the purchase price towards closing costs, down payment, whatever it may be. And a lot of times, especially in today's market where you can negotiate some stuff, I know clients are actually getting a check at closing. So the client that I have now that's under contract that's supposed to close later in May, that is the case. He'll be getting a check at closing because we were able to negotiate for the seller to pay for title and give us $5,000 worth of closing costs credits to use whatever we need it to be. So he's actually going to be walking away from closing with the check in hand versus giving them a check. So there's some really great programs out there. That's why it's important to talk to a local lender who's going to know those local programs, and fit you with the best possible loan product that fits you.
Tell me about that local program, because how's that funded? Is that a government assistance program, or is that something the mortgage company does? Tell me.
So it's a state down payment assistance program. So it's just Tennessee. So the THDA is Tennessee Housing Department Association, I believe, association or authority. But there are some restrictions. I know they have a price limit. It just depends on what county you are for what that price limit is. So I think Davidson County is roughly around $350. So as long as your purchase price is below that amount, you can qualify for it. Your lender is going to be able to tell you the exact qualifications for it and make sure you qualify for that before going down that road. But it can be a really great program.
Well, I was just thinking that's going to be a great episode of the Study Show. We'll have to talk about that again. That'll be something people want to hear about, obviously. What's the most exciting thing? Now, you lived in Atlanta for a while. What do you love about living in Nashville?
I love it's a growing city. Coming from Atlanta's obviously a very established city. There wasn't really much. I say this. I didn't think there was much room for growth there. The last few years have kind of proved me wrong there, but it's been fun to watch Nashville change. I've been here for 5 years in this fall, and it doesn't necessarily seem like a long time, but I've seen Nashville change a whole lot in the last 5 years, so it's been fun to watch.
The only thing that hasn't changed are the number of cranes that are erected in the city. That's still, and the housing demand has got to be through the roof still.
Yes, and that's what going to make Nashville a strong market, in my opinion, for a while, is that the demand is going to be strong for the foreseeable future, and we still have an overall housing shortage issue. And that's not a problem that gets fixed overnight, especially with the rates being as fluctuating as they are. If they get too high, builders slow down, and they have to pick back up when rates get better. So the housing shortage problem is they're trying to fix it the best they can, but it's not going to be a problem that fixes overnight. It takes some time.
And you work with Bradford Realty?
Yes, it's a local brokerage here, right off 8th Avenue.
All right, people can get to you. How do they find you on Facebook,
Facebook,
Instagram?
yeah. Facebook is just Sonny Christopher. Instagram is the Animal Realtor is my handle. You can also email or just call me directly.
And what number should they call you at? We'll have it in the show notes, but go ahead and say it.
Phone number is 205-478-4930.
That's a good-looking coffee mug right there.
It is. Yes,
kind
sir.
of work on the brand there. All right, Sonny, thanks for being on the show. We are going to have, be sure if there's things you like to hear, Sonny's going to be a sponsor, so he's going to be giving you like a 3 or 4 or 5 minute tip on buying and selling real estate in the Nashville market in exotic animals. So reach out to him too if you have a question for him. If you send him some questions you might like to hear him talk about during the episodes of the Sonny Show, be sure to let him know.
Should I end it and give him a little animal fact?
I think we ought to give a sneak peek. Do you have one that's not going to be the Sonny Show yet that you haven't planned to talk about?
Let's see. Can do the one. I did one last week at the networking event that I know a lot of people liked. So there's 2 types of pandas. You have obviously the white panda, giant panda that everyone knows and loves. You also got the red panda, which is a smaller version. But the red panda was actually discovered first. So about 50 years before giant white panda was discovered.
Now tell me, you worked at Zoo Atlanta, so you know the panda. That was a big deal in Atlanta.
It's a huge deal. There's only 3 zoos in the country that have pandas.
Yes,
and they're actually all owned by China.
Did you get to spend time with those pandas?
A little bit. So I got to go feed them a couple times. One of the privileges of working at the zoo is you can have your family come by and do some behind the scenes stuff. So my mom and sister, they came and visited a couple times, and one time we got to go back and feed the pandas.
Tell me about that. How much bamboo can those guys eat?
They eat a lot. So they have their own walk-in refrigerator full of bamboo that is just for the pandas. So they eat a lot of bamboo.
You mean the pandas have their own? They have their own refrigerator.
Pretty much. So I mean, obviously the zoo has a commissary where they prep all the diets for every animal in the zoo. You know, they have several walk-in refrigerators, but there's one that is probably it's 8 feet wide by 12 feet long. That is just for panda bamboo. Okay,
so I understand that is for the zoologist to have access to. The pandas don't have their own way into they don't have their own man cave where they can walk in. Hey, Joe, go get me.
They can't just roll over in the middle of the night. And, open the door and grab a sheet of bamboo.
Because I keep a refrigerator in my bedroom, and I've got my Diet Coke stash there and all that stuff. But a few snacks, nuts, and stuff. What's in the future for you as you grow here with Bradford and with your real estate license here? Do you plan on making Nashville your permanent home? Is that your goal?
Yeah, so I decided that a long time ago that I was going to be here for foreseeable future. I really want to plant some roots here and be here for long term. In terms of real estate, I talk a lot about in real estate investing. That was kind of how I got into it. So my goal is to continue growing my portfolio. And just continue investing on my own. So not only help people invest, but also invest for myself.
Well, Sonny, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate being here. Continue success, and we look forward to many episodes of The Sonny Show.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for asking me to come on.
Thank you.